Well, it's been nearly 9 months now after that horrific Delhi gang rape and barely 2 weeks after that horrific Mumbai gang rape. In fact, in just the last 24 hours in the capital, 2 minors were raped and 2 minors were also raped in Mumbai. So clearly that trend of sexual violence against women continues even after all that fuss and all those protests that we've had following those 2 horrific gang rapes that we've seen. There's been a lot of talk about changing laws, but what about talking about things that already exist? For example, guidelines about how cops should in fact handle cases of sexual violence. And of course, what about us? Do we really know what these guidelines are? Do we really know when we go out to the police station what are our rights? That's is what we discuss on the social network today. Sexual assault, what cops must do and what must you know. And you can tweet us live. Our Twitter handle is on your screens at the moment. It's at TSN on NDTV, and you can ask our panelists any questions that you want. But before we introduce our panelists for the day, let's quickly take a look at what Shruti has sent us.
Of course, there's immense ignorance on the part of the authorities also and on the part of the people also. People don't want to know, authorities don't want to tell. Take the case of driving license. Nobody wants to take that small test which is there to take the driving license. Nobody wants to know the traffic rules. Nobody wants to know the traffic signs. Talk of authorities. Why just the police? I went to the State Bank of India the other day and I wanted to know whether there are charges on outstation check deposits or not. Nobody was able to tell me. A few years back, I wanted a post box. At the post office, 20 minutes of pillar to post, and finally this guy smirks and he tells me, "Madam, post box चाहिए कैसे? वो तो बाहर लगा हुआ है लाल और काले रंग का डब्बा." He was talking about the letter box.
All right, so Shruti there, of course, talking about the fact that, well, in many cases, rights do exist, but nobody really tells you about them. Why don't they? Well, we're going to talk to Suman Nalwa, who joins us. She's the DCP from the Delhi Police. She joins us on the show. We've also got Saikat Datta, resident editor of DNA. We've got Chaitali, who's a member of Jagori, one of the key groups that actually works on the ground with lots of women to help them register their cases. We've also got with us Nawaz Kotwal, who's the coordinator of Access to Justice program. All right, Suman, I'm going to start with you first. You know, there is a very comprehensive set of guidelines on your own website, which I looked through. It's very dense, very comprehensive. How many cops do you think, in your understanding, would actually know and understand and actually practice those guidelines?
See, these guidelines which we are referring to, these are related to rape cases, investigation of rape cases. So all the IOs who are investigating these rape cases, they undergo special training. They are aware of all the latest rulings, court rulings, laws which are in place, and after this intensive training, then they are posted in the police station, and even during their posting, they undergo refresher courses to review, to go back, and if there has been any additions, to go through that, so that they are fully equipped to handle any case which comes to them.
Okay, I want to know this, Suman. What is the level at which this training actually happens? What is the level at which this sensitization happens? I just want to give you an example. You know, we walked across to the GK police station, which is a posh colony, South Delhi. The women cops who we encountered over there had absolutely no idea what these guidelines were that we were talking about. They weren't put up on any police station. So, I mean, I would not know what to do when I get to the police station, for example.
These guidelines are about investigation. An investigation officer is a woman sub-inspector. No one below the level of sub-inspector investigates these cases. When you interact with constables, they are gender sensitive. They undergo a different course, which is gender sensitization, which is how to handle a woman complainant, how to be compassionate, how to be gender neutral, how, you know.
चैताली, आप बहुत सारी औरतों के साथ काम करती हैं. सुमन जी का कहना है कि एक स्पेसिफिक लेवल के ऑफिसर्स जानते हैं, उनको सेंसिटाइजेशन दी जाती है, उसके बिलो ऑफिसर्स का बेसिकली एफआईआर लिखने का. आपका क्या थोड़ा सा अपनी एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में बताइए.
जब महिलाएं हमारे पास आते हैं, जिसके साथ सेक्सुअल हैरेसमेंट हुआ हो या तो रेप हुआ हो, पहला ही उनका ये होता है, हमारे सवाल होता है, आप थाने में गए हैं, एफआईआर लॉन्च किए? नहीं, थाने में गए थे पर एफआईआर लॉन्च नहीं हुआ है. जब हम लोग उनके लोकल थाने में फ़ोन करके बोलते हैं क्यों आप लोग नहीं कर रहे, ऐसे महिला गया है, या तो हम लोग उनके साथ जाते हैं तो
शायद दबाव में आके वो
कर लेते हैं. उसके बाद एक्शन नहीं होता है कि क्या हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है, क्या हो रहा है. महिलाएं भी परेशान हो जाते हैं.
Saikat, you know, I just want to bring you in. Of course, one of the things that's been talked about a lot is that we're seeing an increase in the number of rape cases. That's also because more cases are being reported. And this is, of course, we're also talking about just the big urban spaces right now. But this can't be the reality across India. If even in the big cities, in the big metro cities, as Chaitali is pointing out, it's very, very hard just to get the basic thing about getting an FIR registered.
See, we have to understand what is rape basically. Rape is also violence against women, and rape becomes the favorite weapon when it comes to conflict. And there are conflicts of different kinds. For example, in a state like Chhattisgarh or in a state like Jammu and Kashmir, or even in a state in Northeast, where at least we are having these discussions in urban spaces. If you were to go to these areas like Chhattisgarh, etc., you won't, forget about women constables, you won't even find officers who are ready at fairly senior levels who even understand what is the trauma that a lady would go through once violence has been perpetrated. And in some cases, the state itself has become the perpetrator. For example, you've probably heard about the Manorama case where her private parts were fired at, etc. That is the kind of gruesome nature of violence against women.
Yeah.
So, see, the Constitution says the law has to apply to everybody. Unless and until these areas are taken care of, I don't see any great change coming into the urban centers either, because you have to first figure out how to tackle the worst before you can come back to the best. And unfortunately, these are the only samples of best.
So, Sarkut, if there is then, in a sense, so much, such walls that you encounter, such obstacles that you encounter just in trying to get a simple case registered of sexual violence, even in the big cities, do you think that outside the cities, people are less hesitant to actually go there because they're not actually getting to meet anybody who's actually even sensitive about what they may have just gone through?
See, unfortunately, for example, if you were to again come back to a state like Chhattisgarh, especially in the tribal belts, which is the erstwhile district of Bastar, where I have traveled a bit, you realize that, rape again becomes a favorite weapon to subjugate a population. And when you have a situation like that where suddenly the state a perpetrator or a protector, when those lines get blurred, you have a situation where the woman can't even come to the police station to register